responsibility of curbing the problems of congestion lies not only with the Nigerian Prison Service or the judiciary, it also lies with the police who are involved in the arrest and investigation of crimes. And of course, we were at the Lagos State Command of the Nigerian Police to speak to the officer in charge of the legal department. But after waiting for about 3 hours, he tells us that he has not gotten permission from the Commissioner of Police to speak to us, so he could not tell us anything. Anyway, while I was waiting, something caught my attention, which is the vision of the Nigerian police. Let me read that to you. It says, to hold our duties sacred, perform our functions with pride and exhibit the highest level of professional excellence in all our official engagements. But then I thought, how truly can Nigerians relate with this vision? You can help me with that by sending to my Twitter handle at Victoria Idowu an experience you've had with the Nigerian police. And that's just on the side. So back to our discussion for today. Statistics from the National Prison Service reveals that a little above 65,000 persons are in custody across the country, with over 240 prisons across Nigeria, 138 major prisons, 14 farm centers, 45 satellite prisons and 3 buster institutions. 71% are awaiting trial, 39% are convicts. The National Public Relations Officer, Nigerian Prison Services, Enobare Francis, believes that if the problem of awaiting trial is tackled, the issue of prison congestion will be solved.
First, after receiving those that are legally interned, committed to us by courts of competent jurisdiction, our job is to begin to profile them, begin to understand them, want to know why they have chosen to be rebellious to the common laws. After understanding the causes of their antisocial disposition, we set up different treatment mechanisms to return them to the path of propriety. But you cannot do this when you have the bulk of the people you have to treat as awaiting trial. As it were, we do not have the privilege of returning or rejecting, rather, anybody that is taken to us or brought to us with valid court warrant. You just have to take them in. Now, you may want to know some of the challenges that we pass through in course of managing them. Number one, security challenge. For those that are awaiting trial, they do not know when they are to leave the prison. And if you cite them up, you discover that somebody that is sentenced to 20 years imprisonment is more amenable to correction than someone that is held in incarceration for 3 weeks without trial, and he is not sure of when he will be tried and sentenced to any term of imprisonment. So security, if you go through the series of internal insurrection problems we'll be having with managing the system, it has always come from this segment. Those among those awaiting trial, managing them alone is the problem. And you discover that the officers in charge of these prisons, they pray daily to keep them alive, to manage them in such a way that they don't constitute another security problem to the yard. They talk about presenting them to courts for trial. That is another huge challenge of its own. I gave you a typical example of one of the prisons we have in the FCT here, the Kuje prison. Kuje prison has a population of close to a little above 800 inmates. Out of this number, I told you that about 80% of them are awaiting trial. And that prison alone services about between 84 and 85 courts on a daily basis. How many vehicles do we have? That prison does not have more than 4 functional vehicles to carry out this onerous task. The same scenario you have in most of these major prisons across the country. Then talk about the primary responsibility of the prison institution, which is to train, to reform, to rehabilitate, and to return offenders back to the society, to live a better life out of criminality. That is another huge challenge. until a court satisfies an individual to be an offender, to be guilty of the offense is charged with. You cannot put him through any of the treatment programs we have in the system. You can be in the prison and without premises, if you stay there long enough, which we don't pray for anyway, as convicts, you have the opportunity of reading and getting your master's, even PhD, before you leave the prison, courtesy the National Open University of Nigeria. But as awaiting trial, you are not allowed to have access to these various training programs. For security reasons, whatever intervention should be holistic, should be all-encompassing, should include the key players in the criminal justice system. As a matter of fact, when the President Controller General of Prisons, Dr. Peter Ekmendu MNI, came on board, it was one of the biggest problems he took head on. That is strengthening understanding, strengthening collaboration, strengthening better synergy amongst the key players